Hey guys, so today we'll be learning derivatives. So a derivative is a slope of the tangent line. So in contrast, uh, to find the slope of a secant line, like the line I just drew, let's say this is f of x, you use the formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So the slope of a tangent line is, wait, let me just give you an example really quick. So like if you have this graph, let's call this graph g of x. If we have to take 1 point instead of two, like you do in a secant line, and draw a line. So this is like a tangent line basically, and derivatives is how you find the slope of this line. So let's get started with some actual problems. So basically, the derivative of any constant is 0, and the derivative of any variable with a coefficient of 1 is 1. Okay? So let me teach you a new rule called the power rule. So the power rule is x raised to the power of n. So d over dx of x raised to the power of n is equal to nx raised to the power of n minus 1. Okay, so let me give you some practice problems. So, find the derivative of 5x to the power of 4. So, go pause this video and go ahead and solve this. Okay. So, like I explained earlier, we have to use the power rule. So, 4, you have to multiply this by the coefficient of x, which in this case is 5. So that is 20. And then x to the power of n minus 1. In our case, n is 4. So 4 minus 1 is 3. So the derivative of 5x to the power of 4 is 20x to the power of 3. So let me give you 2 more practice problems and try those on your own. So let's have 3x to the power of 7 and ax to the power of 2. Okay, so find the derivative of these two. So pause this video and try to figure it out. So the derivative of 3x to the 7 is 7 times 3, which is 21. And so x to the power of n minus 1. So 7 minus 1 is 6. And for this problem, 8 times 2 is 16. And x to the power of 2 minus 1 is x. So 16x. So now let's take the derivative of some rational functions. So for example, we have x squared plus x over x. So try finding the derivative of this. So you can simplify this to x plus 1. Now, like I said earlier, the derivative of any constant is 0. So that becomes 0. And the derivative of any variable with a coefficient of 1 is 1. So the derivative of this is 1. Okay, let's try another problem. So let's take the derivative of 3x cubed over x squared. So you can simplify this and make it 3x. The derivative of 3x is 3. But what if you can't simplify? That's where you bring in the quotient rule. So the quotient rule states that if f of x is equal to u over v times u prime, which is just a way of saying the derivative of u minus u times v prime. Wait, let me make this u a little bit less confusing. Over v squared, okay? So now using this formula, solve x squared plus 1 over x minus 1. So first, let's try to recognize our u and v. So in this example, our u is x squared plus 1, and our v, which is a denominator, is x minus 1. Okay, so now let's apply the quotient rule. So let me make up some more room. So if you can recall it, the quotient rule is v times u prime minus v times u times v prime over v squared. So x minus 1 times the derivative of x squared plus 1, which is 2x. So if you simplify it, you get 2x squared minus 2x minus u times v prime. So u times v prime is equal to 1. So x squared plus 1 times 1, x is x squared plus 1. When you simplify this, you get x squared minus 2x minus 1. So now that you have this, we have to put that over v squared. Over v squared. So v is x minus 1. So it's x minus 1 squared. So that is the answer to that problem. Okay, let's do some more problems with the quotient rule. Okay. So another problem is x squared plus 3 over x plus 1. So x squared plus 3 over x plus 1. So let's apply our rule here. So you have our v times u prime. V, if you recognize what v is here, it is x plus 1. So x plus 1 times u prime, which is 2x, because the derivative of x squared is 2x, and then the derivative of any constant is 0, so 2x plus 0. So when you multiply these, you get 2x to the power of 3 2x cubed plus 2x. So that minus u times v prime. So u times v prime is x squared plus 3 times the derivative of x plus 1. The derivative of x plus 1 is 1 because derivative of 1 is 0 and derivative of x is 1. So it's 1 times x squared plus 3, which is simply x squared plus 3. Wait, no, something's wrong. Did you recognize it? Yeah, 2x times x is 2x squared. So this is actually not a 3, it's a 2. So now when you simplify, you get x squared plus 2x plus 3. And that over v squared. V, as we said earlier in this problem, is x plus 1. So that over x plus 1 squared. And that is your answer. So that's the end of this video. Bye.